nice with your hoses if you're using these springy metal hoses. So you know what? Hold on, let me check that noise canceling is on. So you guys don't get blasted with a whole bunch of sound. There we go. Noise isolation is voice isolation now currently on. So hopefully that helps. Anyways, let me. Isopropyl. It's actually ethanol. Sorry. Of course I have it. Let's have to. Oh, no, heavy one that's a little oil. Yeah. Okay. I could show you what this one sounds like when it's plugged in. It sounds horrible. It's not good. Anyways. First things first. Oh no, I should run it. I should run it so I can warm up the oil so that it drains faster and better. No, I'm not gonna run it long, but this is called a mist filter. No, sorry. That catches all the vapor that would come out of the pump into the air. There's a little filter in there. Everything about this pump is dirty as fuck, including the pump itself. I'm gonna keep this on. This should be pretty protective for me to be able to set it on its back, I think. I'm gonna take this off until the very end. If I take this off now, I'm just making possible mistakes for myself later, because if I take this off now, I could damage the fan blades that are in there. This will work even with a broken cover, right? It's just not safe because you don't want those blades exposed. However, if I break the blades, this won't work even with a good cover. So I'd rather break the cover by accident and not the blades. But first things first, I need to take the heaviest part off of the main piece. What's up? What's up? How you doing? So I'm gonna take my power cord and I'm gonna make a loop out of it. I'm gonna slide it up underneath, right on the cap. Now normally you wouldn't want to rest anything on your power cords, but we're not running it, so there's no vibration or anything. But that just keeps that from wanting to sit down. And I don't even know. Why not even get yeah. So that keeps it from wanting to wobble backwards. Now, we'll find our appropriate Allen key. I was going to run this, but fuck it. It's okay. There's really no reason to. It's just going to help piss me off. Might hurt myself. Two what? Alright, so let's break these free. Crack. This is my second time doing it, so I know a little bit more than what I knew last time. So that's helpful. But this is the heaviest part of it, so if you could take this off, that makes the dealing with the rest of it a lot easier, because you don't have this cord everywhere. Loosen all four, then take out your bottom bolts. Just a little bit, slowly on each one. Just get the tension off of everything. And again, slowly off each one. That way you're not riding on any one bolt for a long period of time with too much weight on it. because you'll damage the threads if it comes off uneven and sits on threads. Hope that makes sense. Now this one should have washers with it. Don't lose the washers. This side's important. These are lock washers that stay attached with it, because if you lose these, you could have crazy vibration here and have the motor detach from frame. Nothing else is really going to detach because it's all sandwiched together like a crazy motherfucker. But this, if this decouples, you could have some crazy catastrophic damage where this thing throws your pump into the air. Which would suck the butthole. Alright, again, make sure you get your washers out with it too. Put them all together. I have a technique for ensuring that I don't lose shit too. Now, I'm not sure how far we're going to get before this battery dies on my phone. Okay, so that washer did not come out. There it is. I'm hoping we can get pretty far. I'm going to try to do this as fast as I can. I describe as much as I can at the same time. Come on, baby. Yeah. Bring the washer with you. There we go. Cool. Alright, lock the washer. Alright. So now I can pull that apart. Slowly pull that away. You do not want to bend these fan blades inside of here. Like I said, now I can set this on its bunger if I need to. These blades up here are fragile. You don't want to bend them. If you bend them and break them, you're going to need a whole new bunch of stuff. Whatever. I don't know. Maybe it actually swaps out easier than I think. But it's not something you're going to be able to fix right away. And if this is off of cheap Chinese plastic, no, none of this is plastic. This is all metal. If this is missing a blade or it's off kilter, it'll cause vibration. So, anyways, take this out of the way. That's the motor. That's an electric motor. You could power a car off of that. Well, no, it's only like, it's less than 1 horsepower, actually. But if you geared it right, you could at least get moving. Alright, so now, what's in there is this coupling system and all this fun stuff. We don't have any real leaks down here, which is good. That means that all of our O-rings are good, but we're still going to replace our center O-ring when we get down to it. I found some cheap O-rings that work just fine. Anyways, now I need to drain it, and that's what's cool, is because now I can drain it like this. And that's not so normally something you can accomplish with the motor on. I got a funnel, and then an oil spill mat. Always put down an oil spill mat. Because you're never going to get it right on point. Alright, and then double check that everything is kind of safe. Line everything up. I know you can't see what I'm doing. I guess here, let me show you. So, down in the tail, there's the pour spout right there. Line that up as best as you can, hopefully. Push your switch up and forward, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Up, up, I just got oil in my fucking sleeve. And it is gross. Alright, push that closer to the table. There you go. Right. Fuck. Drain, baby, drain! Drain! Make sure to hit that like, subscribe, all the stuff. Right now, we're just draining out some yellow oil. Like, that's terpene-rich oil right there. Should not be that color. At all, Mr. Butthole, he said. Let me go get a jar quick. Yeah, that's heavily infused with terpenes and oil. I'm sorry. I didn't know you couldn't see me. Oh, my phone was over there. I didn't know you were there. Dang, son! What the fuck? The oil inside here was so fucking destroyed with terpenes. And even though it might have been our terps that destroyed it, it could have been because everything still kind of smelled like our stuff, but not so much. It still smelled like whatever the fuck was in here before. Okay. So much easier to drain it like this now. Like I said, I take off the one side, and put it upside down, and then just drain straight out instead of having it off the edge and then have to tip it. I'm probably still gonna try and tip it. Now I'm tipping it easier, kind of.
Somebody better rest.
I was curious to how much of that was the old stuff, because I put the first one in there, but I can see that it's 90% of the reason why I turned to any color. You know, see? It's a lot easier to hold on the edge than holding the whole thing out. I have a handle now, too.
That's wild how fucking color that is done.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. And I mean, you can see it in that window. It's fucking yellow.
Right. Like when you compare it to the other one now, yeah, dude. I'm gonna take pictures of the inside of this one before and after. I didn't do that till loud.
Curious to see how even this looks like inside.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna take a break.
All right, Dan. There we go. I think I got most of it out. Okay, slow down. Move that. We'll let that continue to leak. Do its thing. What's the job? We're rebuilding a RVP18 pump by HighVac. Oh shit. Oh shit. My phone does not want to behave today. That's the best we can do, I think. Anyways. What I'm gonna do right now is crack these bad boys right here on the back side. I believe. No, yes. A lot of people probably do it backwards because if I crack these, then that whole system's going to rotate when I'm trying to do other stuff. So, never mind. We're going to close up our valve. So, up and over to close it. We wipe it down. Make sure it's not dripping everywhere. Flip it. Boom. All right. So now I'm going to actually, it's on top heavy now. Yay. Oh, and I told you this thing was gonna do something. It's pissing all over my table. And while I don't really care about the mess, it's just fucking slippery, dude. Pump oil is just, it gets fucking everywhere, dude. And I'm gonna have to go crazy wild cleaning this off anyways at the end of the day. All of it. And there's still more oils about to come. The trick is not getting it all over the place. And so you're actually not going to be able to see this next step very well. Because I need to put it on the edge of life. So that if anything drips down, I have this. I guess I can show you this again from this angle. Or maybe from this angle, actually. That might work. That might work. I have a drip pan down here off the edge of the table. What I need to do is take these sides off first. Shit. Oh, yeah, cool. The side panels have to come off. I can't get to the other. I can get to the other bolts, but I can't get to the seam, so I can't spill it all off. You know. What's going on here? Oh my God! Dropping my fucking washes. My vibration-free washes. Keeps the vibrations down. The vibrations. Calm down with all your vibrations. Okay? There's that. Nope. Still this one. Okay. Crack it. Right. Now this is a lightweight cover, so take your top ones off first. Also, open up your filler port. Again, this thing's probably never been opened in 1,000 years. So, I don't know when the last time this thing was opened or filled. So there we go. Pipe wrenches come in handy for a lot of good reasons. This is one of them. All right, so that way air can get in there. Yes, this thing looks horrible on the inside, guys. This thing was properly abused by its previous owners. I honestly wish you could have heard this thing. You might still hear it if I rotate it. It's crazy because it does rotate. It's just bad. This isn't moved very well anymore. Which should go down on its own. It gets stuck a little bit. Which means if it gets stuck going back up, it gets stuck going down. Not what you want. Again, those are parts you typically would replace. I'm not going to replace them because I'm that guy. Alright, so now we're going to crack these bottom ones, which is where any remaining oil that didn't come out is going to hopefully land. In fact, we're closed now. What we can do is this instead. Maybe I should have done it this way to begin with. Which is hold everything there. Crack that one. Boom. Let me get this side first. Alright, so all of my outside nuts and bolts go onto a paper towel so I can keep them in track. I know that the ones with the washers go on the back and the ones without the washers go in the front. So on my paper towel, I have 4 for the back, 4 for the front, washers inside the ones that go for the back, so I don't confuse those with ones for the front because the washers weren't in them. Gonna keep all the same washers with the same things and hopefully the same side with the same direction always, because you kind of don't want to change the direction of your washers either. You don't want them flipping in there. So now this should just lift right off. And you can see that this thing is black. It's about to be just as nasty as it ever was prior. This should not look like this. And that's the truth. This should not look like this inside. It should after like years and years and years of use. But not the amount of hours that were put on this. This is just abused. There's just all of that oil in there and stuff like that that should have been changed out eons ago. Eons ago. That's gonna go so good. Like, look at, I'm literally just gonna put some soapy water on that for a minute to give it like a couple scrubs. And you can see already how much better it is, you know? And that's why before putting new hardware and rebuilding them officially with new rebuild kits, I'm going to run them after this rebuild so that whatever grime is on them can continue to break down with the shitty pump oil until I put new kits in and new oil. Okay. It's just a better way to do things. And that just, in my opinion. Free everyone. You know? But, to be fair, not a political video, sir. Anyways, so now I'm going to take this end off, front cup. And I keep grabbing the wrong wrench. Front cup next. 2. I forget what size. This is size 5. Allen head 5. Left. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Get that. Get that. Now, there's actually, it might look symmetrical here. There's a bottom. These nuts are actually positioned lower than higher. So when you put it back together, if you had them too high, you could only get one, you won't get the other one. So there's only one way to put this on. And again, like I said, this thing's gonna make a mess. You know what I should do? Should have put a spill pad under the pump, huh? How about that, guys? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm a fucking genius. So now I can actually just lay it down on the table and not really concern myself terribly with what gets on the table, huh? Which probably allows for a better viewing experience for y'all too. I can actually just put it on the table and do it. Let me put these out of the way. I've already lost 2 Allen keys today. This is again the wrong one. We'll put that on top of it. Because I'm not supposed to fuck with anything over there until the very end. So. Alright, so this thing is going to want to just fall over on you constantly because it's front heavy. Here's all your nasty bolts and screws that should come clean with some Scotch-Brite. That's what I recommend, using the green scrubby pad. That's some bolts. Ba-boom, ba-boom. Alright, so this should come off in 2 pieces. It might come off as one. But then you have to have it. Let's see if we get. They're not supposed to be this stuck. They should come apart pretty easily. That's kind of the concern I have, which is why I'm like, oh, okay. Here we go, boys. Let's take this apart now and just not worry about it breaking down before we worry about it. So let me grab my hammer and my screwdriver for just a light tap. I'm going to try the front first. Yeah. Try the back. Sometimes this works too. Just put the screwdriver in there and the twist. Screwdriver and a twist. Yeah, see, there we go. And then, again, this should move freely. And it's pretty bound up. And then, it's supposed to go left. Yeah. It's pretty bound up. Not happy about that. You know? So, we're going to take this apart too. So, again, twist in between there, in between there. Boom. And look at that. There's your veins and all that shit. You're never going to get rid of all the markings in here, and that's totally fine. It'll actually help you line this up later. But, to show you how this works, right? This in here spins as such. Wow, it's really bound up. We're not even going to try and spin that. I'll show you a different one. So let's go ahead. Hammer that out. That comes out of the center, like so. And then you have your fin. So that fin goes left and right in there. It just slides around with gravity. But if there's gunk in the middle there, it can't move at all. So the idea is to take the fin out, clean the fin edges and the groove edges. So for the time being, we're going to just put that in there the same direction so we know which way it goes back in before we're cleaning it. We got our first part out. Our first major cup and dime. We'll take that out. I'm going to keep the nuts up here for it for now. But I'm going to soak these parts too. If you're asking what I'm soaking them in, I'm actually soaking them in Alkanox. All right, so this is a better example of how this works now, as you can see. And maybe you can't because of the chat. So let me move the chat out of the way just a hair. All right, so there you go. So what happens is this spins around in different veins and opens and closes different veins. And see how that slides one over and moves over another, and slides one over and moves over another, and slides one over and moves over another. Feel free to rewind if you need to. But yeah, if those things can't move around in there, and each stage is a different stage, it gets smaller and smaller. So this one feeds into that very little one. Right, that very little one. This is just a smaller version of the same thing with the same sliding back and forth little piece, right? Just doesn't want to slide back and forth very well anymore because, well, it's stuck. But that same sliding thing goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. If that makes any sense. It's just a bigger one of it. It's a little bit easier to see how it works. But centrifugal forces help it do its job, along with a little help from the previous one. There's always going to be a gap there, but they wobble back and forth and they fill in the gap as it goes around really fucking fast with a almost 1 horsepower engine. So there's that piece, there's that piece. I'm actually put that on the rust too. Let that break down some of the rust and whatnot could be on there. And I'm going to take off these second ones. Screws on top of that, so I know these are internal screws. And I put them in their order, actually. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and lay it out like a little map table here for my screws. So those are the 2 that go in on the front. And I'll show you those in a little bit too. First, let's crack a lack on here. Boom. Take this piece off. I don't know what the fuck this thing's called. I don't know what any of these pieces are called. But that just like does something with the flow. So I know that's Another top bolt, put that in order in the list. Slip that. Take this one off. There's only one way to put this on. This will have a stained spot too that'll help you kind of remember where it goes if it's this bad as well too. Otherwise, take note of the direction. And this always goes angled downward. See how it goes upward or downward? This always goes downward. And the first bolt is always on the right. So you go right to left. Right, then left. Right, then left when you're putting it back together. So that's hopefully over there. And those two bolts are almost identical, I believe. As a matter of fact, so you can't mix those two up. Again, soaking. And now I can take off this guy. Now sometimes these are hard to get to, so what I'll do is I'll put the Allen in there. It'll take an adjustable wrench. It'll give it a crack. These aren't tight. They don't need to be super tight. I don't know what material they are. I'm assuming stainless steel. Who knows? Some form of steel or aluminum. But one thing I know is you never want to tighten things too tight. You just want to make sure things sit just right. And that once they get hand tight, you want to give them always at least a good notch, good quarter turn. Inch and inch. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. Come on, buddy. I know you're right there. There it is. And then two more bolts back in the thing there. I think all these bolts are the same. And then again, your screwdriver in there. There's a pry tool just a little bit on each side. You want to make sure you're always not pulling too hard to one side, because if you do that, you could end up causing a problem maybe. I don't know. And again, that's keyed in there, so you don't want to fuck up any of the movements on anything, you know? That goes into there, that goes into there. This pops out again. Boom, 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 boom. And again, all of these holes are keyed out towards the bottom direction. So when you're putting shit back together, it's kind of hard to fuck it up. You know? And all the holes are near the bottom, all the veins are towards the top, more or less. Oop. But it went in sideways. This like main three-way valve is pretty much like always the same. And if you really wanted to, you could scrape the top with a scrape, you know, and be like, all right, this is the top of everything. But I think that's going a little too far. Anyways, this thing moves pretty good in here, but the oils definitely make it sticky. You want to be careful because there's also some O-rings or seals in there, bearing seals. Shaft seals and stuff. You don't want to soak this stuff in ISO too long or anything. And then again, each piece gets progressively smaller, so it'd be it's pretty hard to figure out which one goes in first, which one goes in last. All right, so now this last piece is the fun one. This is the one you have to get from here. And those, again, you definitely have to get in there with the crescent wrench and snap those puppets free. I don't know, you might have a longer socketed version that I don't know. It works better than what I'm doing, but this seems to work out to do very good. What I'm doing. Just to break it. You know, I don't after that I could have enough arm strength. And you might have enough arm strength to break that open too. I don't know. This is hard when you have not much of a hand. You know? I like the extra torque. Plus, I'll show you a trick that I learned. I believe help separate this from the rest of the system, and not having to use this dead blow hand that I had at the beginning. And again, when I put these bolts on the paper towel, I put them in the direction that they're going in on the pump. Now these ones here have vibration sensors too, or washers too. These are black with black washers. Those go in the back. There's 3 of them. Don't lose those washers. They are very important. You might as well not have a screw. I mean, I guess you could replace it with Loctite, but go with the strongest non-permanent Loctite you can get. Yeah, let's hope that that's not the 2.5 that I needed. And I'm pretty sure it's freaking it. I'm pretty sure that's not a 3. It is not 3. It is the 2.5. It is the last freaking piece I put on. How did I lose it? I lost that Allen head, or that Allen key. I don't know what I did with it, y'all. I don't know what I did with it, y'all. I don't see it on the floor. I don't see it anywhere. Shit. Alright, I'm gonna go grab one. I know I have one. Don't like using shitty ones, man. Fuck. Alright. Alright. Get my box of tools out, yeah. Let's see here. Again, like I said, these are the shitty ones that are not organized. So none of them are. Too small. Just right. Alright. Definitely a shittier Allen key too. It's probably the shittiest one I could find. That's the other thing. It's gonna want to move this. Got it. You just gotta be careful with that. You don't want to fuck up that screw. That over again. Goes to the back. Like that. Ba-ding-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding. And we'll put that Allen key right next to it so we don't lose the Allen key in the meantime and have to take all these, go back and back, because they are useless to us, and we don't need to go. Only keep out the tools we're planning on using. Put everything aside or away. That's a big deal. I need to find that Allen key. It is super important going forward. All right, that slides off. As you can see, even that has some form of corrosion on it. That's gonna get soaked as well. All right, boom. Now we have two more Allen keys in here that are slightly smaller than that. This is the big one that we don't use. Back to not that one. That's the one that goes there. Oh my god. This is the one that we next. Sir. Yeah. Well. Pick this off. So we can protect the elements involved. Because there are again one of these shaft seal bearings again. Yep. There's that. Those also go in the back. That's the proper direction. Let's grab this. Use the smaller one. I probably used it for that last time, but that looks me. Working on the sides here and there. I think you can use the screws that I pulled out here to remove this. But I do it like that. And there's the other bearing, and there's the other bearing. What I'm going to take this one out so we don't have to replace it. It actually looks to be in really good shape. I'm going to take it out so that it can relive its shape and life. And hopefully clean itself out. So now, put that out, put it in, and then there's those paddles. Two of those. These go opposite of each other. So if that one is in there that way, that one goes that way. And again, you can see the buildup on the shafts right here. This is what all needs to be cleaned off so that we have proper movement and no degradation of our fucking pieces. But you can see nasty. Anyways, so I'm gonna separate this from this next. That's easier said than done. It's best done with the mallet. And my hands are hella dirty, so let's try and wipe those off real quick. We're just spreading more dirt on here, even though it's gonna get it done. This whole thing's gonna get dunked in ethanol. I'm gonna go ahead. Boom. Little mallet action. I finally get to see the inside of this thing. Proper. So, good thing both O-rings survived. There's another O-ring around that piece there. So that's what keeps all the oil from going beyond where it was. And then here's a gasket. There's a spring valve that goes in there. And then there's another spring valve with a header in there. What was those? I just left the spring. It went flying somewhere. I have to find that. Oh my god, as I just said this. Not I said fucking flying. God knows where. Oh my god. Please, dear God, you tell me I can find. I heard it go this way. My hope is that maybe it's. Oh my God. Oh, clipping. It could be fucking anywhere now at this point. And I have to literally move everything. Like, did it fall over here? That would be more magical. I doubt it. Like, it didn't go far. It hit one or two things, and then that was it. So. All right. Well, we'll be back in installment number 2.